Hello, this is Allison May, and this is my case study. The name of my student has been changed. We're going to be calling him Omar for this case study. So my student is a 15-year-old male student at the American International School of Jeddah in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. He was born in Saudi Arabia, then moved to Nottingham, England. His parents were completing advanced degrees at university in England, and they stayed there through Omar's second grade year of school. He attended school in Nottingham, England. Omar lives with his parents and one younger sister who's 3 years of age. His parents are both very successful, they're self-employed, and they're very supportive of their son. Background: Omar attended 2 other schools in Jeddah prior to AISJ. They were also private schools. There were incidences of bullying, and also those schools didn't seem to provide any support for Omar's learning needs. In 2017, he entered AISJ. Through the pre-screening process that we have in place here, he was referred to learning support and psychoeducational testing. As a result of that testing, he was formally diagnosed with ADHD, mixed presentation. His scores and entrance exams indicated that he was capable of achieving much higher academic standards than were showing up in his grades. In addition to his academic problems, he was having some behavioral difficulties related to his ADHD, lots of inattention, off-task behaviors, and then some strained peer relations as well. Non-academic strengths. He's generally well-liked by his peers and teachers. He's a very, very affable young man, even though he does have some problem with interactions at times. He's generally polite and compliant. He freely involves himself in classroom discussions. He's quite an actor. He loves to talk. He volunteers to read out loud in class and often does so in voices, practices his voices. He's a very good actor and regularly participates in school plays and drama club. His strengths: written language, oral reading, algebraic operations, oral fluency, receptive vocabulary, matrix reasoning, and inductive reasoning. Academic strengths. Non-academic challenges. Throughout the year, he has been socially challenged. Peers seem to enjoy his company most of the time because he's very funny and his presence is kind of a bright spot. However, he's prone to making rude and insulting comments, usually followed by, "Oh, I was just kidding." He frequently takes other people's belongings without permission. He touches people's things without their permission. He'll command students to do things for him, and in the middle of a class, he'll start making annoying sounds, or he'll burst out into random show tune songs. He really likes show tunes. And he is in constant motion. Academic challenges: listening comprehension, on-task behavior, organization, task initiation, assignment completion, time management, and pretty significant test anxiety. I don't have any samples of his work to compare to a neurotypical student, so I have entered MAP testing data for Omar, and this is a way I can compare him to the norm and also to the district. So here is his reading scores. They're quite variable. I think that's pretty typical of an ADHD student, that some of their testing scores are quite variable. Also, he has test anxiety, so on the good days he does well, and on the bad days he does not do as well. Language usage: he's close to the norm. This is probably his strongest category, is written language, but still there is a lot of variability in there, and we need to see a little bit more growth from him. Mathematics is his weakest area. As you can see here, there is extreme variability in his scoring. If he's going to have a test anxiety reaction, it will happen during a mathematics test. He becomes very frustrated, very disorganized, and inability to concentrate and to show what he actually knows. Intervention strategies. We try to incorporate opportunities for movement as much as possible in his classes: learning stations, gallery walks. We have exercise balls for him to sit on, standing desk with rollers, He has a hand signal that he uses in a lot of classes so that he can get up and take a break if he needs to without disrupting class. We're working on organizational skills. We're making him keep a daily planner. We check his folder and notebook system quite frequently to make sure he's keeping all of his papers organized. We have him check his Schoology daily to make sure that he's up on all of his assignments and upcoming assignments. And we have a WhatsApp communication group between parents, teachers, and learning coaches. For his test anxiety, at least 5 days of notice of all tests and quizzes, isolation testing, prearranged breaks, graphic organizers, steps, word banks, chunking of test materials. I usually tear his test apart, give him 1 page at a time, and I usually don't tell him how many pages there are because it accelerates or exacerbates his test anxiety. And he is seeing a therapist, and so we use some of those strategies from the therapist for calming and focus. Peer interactions, we have clear and constant reinforcement. There are peer interaction cards posted in the classroom, or we play games and use scenario cards, role playing. We often pair him in small groups or with partners just to play games, even at breaks and lunch, to learn those proper social interactions. On-task behavior, we have prearranged breaks after a specific task has been completed successfully. He gets rewards of stress balls or a favorite activity. Or he loves little manipulatives and figurines and things like that. So when he finishes something on time, then he gets one of those things. He also gets a release from his office hours assignments, which is assigned to a student who has not completed tasks within the school class period or within its due date time frame. So when he does well, he gets a release from those office hour assignments. And that's basically Omar and the things that we have tried with him. He is an ongoing project. I would be very happy to hear your comments and ideas about this student.